All right, let's see if we are live. I am 80% sure that we're okay. All right, I'm gambling that we are. So we're gonna go straight intro.
白岩学園3年 B 組の皆さん、こんにちは。
All right, good morning, everybody. Today we are going to have a little chit chat with people who are West Coasters. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna loop in the guys. Let's get this straightened away. And hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Right on. Okay, I'm gonna lower your volume just a hair, and we should be pretty close to being balanced. Jonathan Pohl, you were just about to tell a story and had something to do, I think, with the Salvadorians or something.
Oh, I used to know a guy. He was of Mexican descent. His parents were Mexican immigrants, and he worked for a border patrol. And his job was basically to take back the Central American gangsters after they had served their prison term, to deport them and turn them over to the militaries in Guatemala and El Salvador. So
Jeez.
they'd be handcuffed on the plane next to him, and he'd be carrying a gun on the flight down, and then he'd turn them over to the military And supposedly the military would take care of the problem from there in these Central American countries, mostly El Salvador and Guatemala. I think Honduras as well. But
Jeez.
obviously, he did not like these people. The Mexicans had a very strong dislike of the Central Americans, and on top of it, of course, these particular people were not very good representations of the population. They were criminals being deported back.
Why did the Mexicans dislike the Salvadorians so much?
I think it's because they have problems with the Central Americans illegally immigrating into Mexico, and they also form, I think, their own crime gangs and whatnot.
Well, that sounds very intolerant of the Mexicans to do that.
Well, the Mexicans don't worry about it because the Mexicans have a strong identity of themselves.
Are there distinct differences in like dialects, so to speak?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot of different dialects of Spanish. My Spanish is not great, unfortunately. But for one thing, you'll notice that like Mexicans speak Spanish very fast, and people from further south, like Chile, Argentina, speak it slower. And people in Spain speak it slower.
Jeez. Makes me think that there's some kind of a weird, like, a war between them going on here in America too. I wonder.
Yeah, well, you know, this is the I don't want to say the vanity of small differences. A lot of times, national groups, ethnic groups that are similar will hate each other. So the Russians and Ukrainians, for instance, are culturally quite similar, but historically have been at odds.
It's almost like a kind of. It reminds me of siblings, sort of.
You're a little bit quiet. Could you say that again?
That it reminds me of siblings and kind of like establishing an identity. Why they might, yeah. Blue Monday says Scottish and English.
Yeah, but the Scottish used to be a lot different. They became anglicized.
That's true.
Yeah.
Churches encouraged a lot of people to learn English so they could become literate.
Yeah, the Scots are now basically hyper-cucked. I mean, if you listen to Scot people, they're basically saying, yeah, just give the country away to see how that works out.
Have you seen the ad for the Welsh quote-unquote nationalist party?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Goose?
I have not.
It's a woman in a niqab, which is a full Arab face covering. Just the eyes show.
I would swear that she had angry eyebrows too. Like if you look at the expression on her face, like she seems to have like a resting angry face.
Maybe, but the point is that why is the Welsh Nationalist Party have somebody dressed in very un-Welsh costume?
Well,
They be dressed in a Welsh national costume.
Anyone can be Welsh bigot. Anyone.
Well, shouldn't they dress like a Welsh person? At least.
But anyone can be a Welsh. So.
No, but don't they have to like adopt? You know.
No. She has a passport. She is therefore Welsh.
There's no such thing as a Welsh passport. They have British passports.
Okay, well, but she has a mailing address in Wales. She is therefore Welsh.
I have a second cousin that has a mailing address in Wales too. It doesn't make him Welsh.
He's got a mailing address there. He is therefore Welsh.
All right.
Do you even civic nationalism, bro?
Was that?
Am I quiet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are, Goose.
Yeah.
You need to speak up.
Let me move this closer. Maybe I need to move closer to it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this, but I kind of hug the mic a little bit. That's why
I'm
my
gonna
volume.
turn my camera off just so I can hold this up here.
Oh yeah, yeah. You should be like on top of the camera, bro, or on top of the mic, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't even like hearing about the UK these days. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's actually a super bummer because like Way of the World was tweeting that there was some kind of a debate or a talk or something like that, and none of the people mentioned even once that the indigenous Brits are going to be a permanent minority in their own country by 2060. There was a guy that was saying that he thinks that he would like immigration to be the issue of 2020, and I'm starting to concur. And the reason that I'm starting to concur is because, and I said this like last time, but whatever. The good thing is that if we make it like a major issue now, then when the demographic situation becomes even more intense in 2024, we can talk about it again. We can revisit the whole thing all over again. I think this is a good idea.
That's a good point. Just introduce the idea, put the seed in people's minds so that when things start getting bad, they have a framework with which to kind of understand what the hell's happening.
Yeah. Because, I mean, nothing is going to change, period. Like, end of story. That's just the way that it is. Nothing will change for the next 4 years, period. But if we can get everything set up so that it's just in the public consciousness, then yeah. Then when people notice, then we can start talking about what to do.
Yeah, I remember when it was a big issue in the 80s, and the solution was to give permanent residency and legalize all the illegal aliens.
Oh yeah. That's what flipped California. Yeah. And they're looking at doing it
Reagan was
again.
from California.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
He got elected by Republicans and then just screwed his home state.
Yeah. Well, Reagan not only granted amnesty, permanently turning California blue, he also was the guy that got rid of open carry in California. So.
Well, that was when he was governor, yeah.
Yeah.
That's because the Black Panthers were openly carrying rifles at the state capitol in Sacramento.
Yeah. And I still say that's not cool, man. I don't care who's doing it. It's, well, whatever. I could go off on that, but.
I mean, technically they had the right to do that, I would think.
Exactly. What is it? Dangerous.
Well, that's why they did it. They didn't actually violate any laws at all, but it scared the hell out of a lot of politicians because they're always cowardly.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem is that they basically said, oh, okay, fine, so I guess we're going to, for the sake of our own skin, declare, the entire state bad just for exercising a simple right. It's awful. Well, whatever, anyway. But yeah, it's, I think that 2024, it'd be great, so great, if people could just look back on the demographic situation again, because we could talk about it now, and we could talk about where everything is now, and because...
Right, and then we'll come back at 2024, the last 3 white guys in California.
Exactly. Well, no, but what we could do is we could talk about the percentages. The percentages change all the time. They change every year. So it would be fantastic to talk about where the percentages are now, and then in 2024 we'll have 4 years of even more changes to talk about. I think it's a great idea.
That's why I guess it's kind of a different situation with Groypers and Trump and everything, but honestly, I don't see any chance of him losing, and I couldn't care less. But yeah, all this like just wait a year and then bring this stuff up nonsense. Like, no. If they've got a movement, we need to do it.
What I was thinking about doing is like kind of a rush on radio stations. And the idea is call into local radio stations where they have like live call-ins and just talk about it, record it, and then upload it.
Okay.
I mean, the idea is to get people, like regular people, talking about it. People still listen to the radio.
They do?
I'm confident someone listens to the radio.
Okay, not me.
Might be a decent way to get some of those like boomer conservatives, like actual baby boomer conservatives. Although even my dad doesn't listen to political pundits anymore. He just kind of, I think quite a few people are sort of tuning out. I don't know.
Yeah, I've noticed myself doing the same thing, to be honest. I've got like I do actually, I still listen to some of them, but like I have no idea what's going on with like the impeachment thing. Like I think maybe 2 years ago I would have been like all about it, you know, breaking out popcorn, and now I only barely care. Because I expect it to go south, and like we all know it's going to go south. Whatever, who cares? But like, yeah. So I guess though, because if a lot of people are suffering from burnout, yeah, it's going to be hard to bring this up. It's going to be hard to talk about it. Well, we still have to try. We still have to do something about it. I mean, there's got to be a way to bring this up somehow, to make it a talking point.
Yeah, it's hard to reach people who hit burnout before even becoming red-pilled. Like, I don't follow the day-to-day party politics at all anymore. Like, not even a little bit. But I already kind of know what's up. So. I don't know. It's tough. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, whatever radio programs you could find, presumably they have an audience, or else they wouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, because amongst the reasons that I hit burnout myself, because I kind of have in a way, not totally obviously, because here I am talking about it, but like in some sense I kind of have, and I think that one of the reasons is because no one is representing us. So there's no incentive. Like, who fucking cares? You know, there's no one to root for. There's nothing to root for other than which side is going to hurt you less as they ransack everything. And that's not a really good decision. That's not a really good choice at all. So it's like, well, there's no real reason. You already know that you're going to get stabbed. And the question then becomes, are you going to get stabbed in the chest or stabbed in the back? And that's what you're voting for. It's really depressing. Still,
Vote for being stabbed in the front, then you'll see it coming.
yeah, I do actually think that this is why I used to like the Republicans, because they used to be the party of stabbing you in the chest, but now they're just the same backstabbers as the Democrats.
That's the real party flip. Now the Democrats are stabbing us in the chest, and the Republicans.
Yeah, isn't that awful? It's so lame.
Party
Anyway.
switch is real.
Yeah, I know, it's so lame. But I think that if we were to find a way to like inject some of this into the discussions, like there would be the beginnings of like some people at least talking about representing us. I mean, in Britain, you've got, what is it, Marie Ann Waters. She's starting to talk about this like big time, but like in our terms, which is great. And there are a couple of others. I forget who they are, but there are a couple of people in Britain that are talking like they're not mainstream. They're really not mainstream at all. But they're people that they circulate enough that I know about them, which means that they are not hyper obscure. They're just regular obscure. But I think that there's going to be a jump very soon into people talking about it openly. I mean, because there is this thing. I don't know if you guys...
Did you see that the furthest left Labour MP came out against any more immigration? George Galloway from Scotland.
George Galloway?
George Galloway said that
no, I know
immigration from the third world into Great Britain was a capitalist policy that was against the working class of the UK.
Yeah, George Galloway's a big fucking commie cuck. So
right.
It's amazing that he's anti-immigration. But I mean, hey, I would rather have a filthy communist talking about it than nobody. So I'll take it. George Galloway, no shit.
Yeah, because they're just bringing in cheap labor to displace the British working class.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it was George Galloway. Not even joking. That's genuinely surprising. Because he seemed like he would have been sort of the virtue signal-y type. Weird.
Except he's also, this old hard left. I mean, he's not the new cultural left. He's like the legitimate, economic socialist left. The Fidel Castro type.
Yeah. What's that?
So
not right.
Necessarily anti-white.
What's that?
Not necessarily anti-white, or not strongly.
Who?
Maybe George Galloway.
Oh,
the
yeah.
old left is what I'm talking about.
Well, I didn't. I haven't listened to George Galloway in a really, really long time.
He's crazy, but
yeah.
He sometimes comes up with these type of idiosyncratic positions.
Like I say, I'll take it. I will absolutely take it. It's a good start. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to... Okay, so George Galloway. Alright, yeah, he's fairly mainstream. Like, people know who he is.
He's well known. I don't know who's mainstream. As we said, he's basically an old line leftist. He's what Jeremy Corbyn used to be.
Yeah.
He's the leader of the Respect Party? That's what...
Not anymore. Respect has been dismantled.
Okay.
Respect was a difficult... it was basically only lasted a short time because it was a coalition of Islamic fundamentalists and communists, and obviously ideologically that doesn't work real well.
Oh yeah, it says party dissolved.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well, I hope they start talking about it more over there.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be like the issue for the next like century or something.
Until either we're completely ethnically cleansed or we win, pretty much.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty stark way of putting it, but yeah, it's kind of the case. I mean, I think we're going to, on a net level, be fine. So, I'm not despondent about it, but I do understand that I think we're going to get a haircut. So that's going to be.
Here's the quotation from George Galloway. The Blue Monday put it in the chat. There's nothing, with nothing all in capitals, quote, left wing about mass immigration, not for the countries losing their best and brightest, nor for the workers already here. It's a confusion of liberalism with real laborism to believe otherwise. Quote, free movement of cheap labor is a big business bonanza.
So maybe we should become like old school anti-liberal commies, you guys.
Well, that's basically what the Nazbo people did.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like using their own rhetoric against them. I love it, but I just absolutely despise communists. So it's a little bit alien for me to do that. I would much prefer to just be openly anti-communist.
Right, but the problem is, of course, that often gets interpreted to be, as Galloway points out here, to be support of unlimited capitalism, which supports things like unlimited immigration and unlimited degeneracy.
If only there were some kind of third option.
Nope, you don't get a third option. You get Global Homo. That's the special every single day, the Global Homo.
Yeah.
Sing the
There's,
song.
there's only one thing served in this restaurant, and it's Global Homo.
Sing the song, Otto.
Global Homo Gayplex is the place to be.
Serenaded to sleep. I love it. Well, okay, yeah. So I guess, I mean, I'm just trying to think about like things to. I'm always trying to think about something that one can do, something constructive and positive, something that we actually do have control over. You know, those retarded little stickers, the it's okay to be white stickers. I loved those because it was direct. You didn't have to worry about clearing anything through Twitter or Facebook or anything. And I would love to do more of that, but like I can't help but think it'd be great to, because if we're talking about making immigration like a major issue, we're not going to be able to do that on Twitter at all. We're not going to be able to do that on YouTube at all. So we got to find ways to break into the narrative. We have to hack into it. Like, what is it, C-SPAN? You guys know about those call-in shows or whatever?
Yeah. Like with the Brian Lamb used to have?
Yeah. How cool would it be to just fucking Groiper rush C-SPAN?
You know, you didn't used to have to do that. It wasn't that long ago. C-SPAN actually covered AmRan conferences.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, it was only like, it's not that long ago. You can find that because I Luke Ford was showing C-SPAN, and they just filmed the entire thing without even like commentary. So they let like all the speakers that Jared Taylor invited just speak their piece and showed it on basically public television for free.
Epic.
We need more of that,
What
man.
happened? Yeah, C-SPAN. I've seen some content on YouTube. They weren't too bad like 20 years ago.
No, they were pretty balanced when because Brian Lamb was pretty conservative and he tried to keep it objective. But I don't know. It's like everything, you know, there's a point where everything became radically politicized left wing. So like, you know, when I was growing up, the big claim to fame of the American Civil Liberties Union is that they defended the right of the Nazis which was George Lincoln Rockwell's Nazi party, to march in Skokie, which was a town in Illinois that had more Holocaust survivors than any other.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but now after Charlottesville, the ACLU will not defend anybody with even like slightly right of center politics.
Pretty wild. Yeah, as far as like things we have control over, sometimes I do just sort of fall back into thinking like, well, maybe I should just focus on getting practical skills. Still pretty young. but I was wondering your guys' opinion on automation and whether or not you think, like, do you think that they would actually move forward with trying to automate, like, commercial truck driving?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. You know, I got so pissed. I was in the Vukhanova airport in Moscow, and there was a Burger King, and the Burger King was automated for payment so that you could not use cash. They wouldn't take rubles. You had to use a fucking card. So I didn't use it, but I mean, I can see them doing that. I can see them getting rid of most workers and getting rid of cash, and I'm just gonna have to go and grow potatoes and raise pigs on my uncle's ranch.
Because I feel like if it goes that direction, I mean, I don't even know how much we really have to worry about. Like, at that point, it's just sort of out of everyone's hands. So, like, you know, just form, you know, informal networks and try to buy land and just, you know, watch the world go up in flames, I guess. I mean, if they actually succeed in making the vast majority of the population economically obsolete anyway, I mean, it just kind of changes the game, even with mass immigration.
Well, that's their goal. The goal is to basically not decimate, but destroy our capacity and our ability to govern ourselves. To
go in the pod, eat the bugs.
Yeah, no, they want that. They actually do want because I'm it might sound a little paranoid, but whatever. I do think that the mitzvah of destroying the seed of Amalek, I think that's serious. Maybe that's a bit much for me to take them at their word, but I do think they're serious, and I think that is their goal. And if you take that goal seriously, then, dude, of course they're going to take down the banking. Of course they're going to take everything down, and they'll criminalize everything and anything, and they will punish you publicly just so that they can make an example of you to keep everybody else in line. So yeah, I can totally see all that happening. Yeah, and as far as I can tell, I'm moving a little ahead in some ways, but whatever. I kind of do think that the whole, like, because they're cracking down on farming right now. I think them cracking down on farming is a way of culling the population on the back end, because it's cheaper than actually killing people. It's easier. So just go for...
What do you mean they're cracking down on farming? In what way?
Okay, so apparently there's... Alright, you can look at it from the Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, now South Africa standpoint, where they are literally allowing the farmers to be killed, like formally. So that's one way of culling the population. You simply make it impossible to feed that population. That's
not what will happen. It will be like the rest of southern and western Africa. Eastern Africa is a bit different. But you can already see what's happening with the Chinese there. That there'll still be food, but the thing is, it will the farms will either be owned by foreigners, the Chinese, in particular, or it will be imported, particularly from Europe, in exchange for extraction of raw materials, particularly minerals. So the country will become much poorer, but it's not going to starve. The only places you've had famines in Africa have been in Ethiopia, Somalia, and Sudan generally, which are a bit different than the southern Africa and western Africa, particularly climatically, but also politically.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I thought you were referring to, Eke, I thought you were talking about, like, in America, them doing something with farmers. I mean, not that I doubt that they would try. I'm sure they make.
But one thing that does occur is that people in rural areas, because you use your children for labor, have much larger families. So if you want people to have fewer children, that is, you want to reduce the number of people born, then urbanization, and particularly educating women to higher levels, is like the most effective way. So then you end up like a country like Japan, where your population starts shrinking because for every 2 people that die, 1 is born.
I saw Hans Rosling's TED Talk. I know all about that. Or at least the women's education thing and lowering birth rates.
Yeah.
It does. It drops it dramatically.
Yeah, I actually know this from personal experience.
I do too. I mean, I've worked as a university professor for 12 years. A very large number of women that have PhDs never have any children. And most that do have 1 kid.
Yeah, I've seen that in effect here in Los Angeles all the time, like all the time. It's incredible. But no, there is something that's going on with the farmers. Like the farmers here in America, like they're actually, I hear reports about it. I don't keep up on it, so I only know little tidbits here and there. But apparently, they are actually, like a lot of them are in debt to the point where it's difficult for them to make ends meet. So like they're having a tough time just in general.
Yeah, but this has been going on in the Midwest, all of the family-owned farms that have been owned by the same families for many generations, going back to the Homestead Act during the Civil War. Basically, they got bankrupted and had to sell out and became conglomerated into giant corporate farms. So Archer Midling Daniel, is it? EDM, Archer Daniel Midling, right? And a couple other companies, Monsanto, it bought up all of these family farms. So now you have, these huge agro businesses, but for the individual Yeoman farmer really took a hit starting in the 80s.
What drove them to bankruptcy?
They were a number of things, but basically they got too far into debt and couldn't pay it off. They drowned in interest.
Is there any particular set of reasons they went into such crippling debt?
You can look it up. I'm not an expert on it, but my understanding is that they had a combination of very high expenses and not enough return on the sales, and that even with government subsidies, that this was not sufficient for farms that were not of very large scale to be profitable.
So basically, we just have too many people. Too many things just getting too big, I guess.
I actually think that is the case. There is a paper that I had read on the street, and I keep meaning to go back and read it again, but whatever. There's a paper that I read that talked about carrying capacity. I think that referring to carrying capacity is the best thing when talking about reasons why. Because if you're going to talk to like a blue-pilled normie or something, because they won't understand the whole racial dynamic thing. But if you talk about carrying capacity, they might understand it. Maybe, I don't know. But I know, I do think that we're approaching like limits on the planet in general.
I think the overall population is going to start to shrink because, particularly China is now no longer growing. It's now starting to flatten out and will start slowly shrinking.
Yeah, because the one-child policy ended up creating like a little tiny. I mean, it's not really a bottleneck when you're talking about China.
An incel neck.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
100 million incels
Yeah, they
coming to your
aborted a lot
town.
of. Didn't they abort like a lot of female babies?
Yes, that's why there's 100 million incels in China.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a.
But for a lucky 10 million of them, there's Uyghur women to be taken.
Oh gosh, yeah. Someone was just telling me about some terrible policy they have where, like in Xinjiang, or however you say that, they'll actually like
East
Chinese.
Turkestan.
Yeah, East Turkestan, right? I guess that would be the more humanitarian name for it. But they'll actually like sleep. The Chinese will sleep in the same bed as the Uyghur wives, and they're basically trying to breed them out. They use stupid excuses for it. I don't know how true that is, but I heard that. I wouldn't really put it past them.
I heard they're doing the same with Tibet.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. I wonder how many normies could be. I don't know. It seems like people are so burnt out that they're just sort of like emotionally dead to this kind of stuff. But the Tibet thing, it's like 20 years ago that we had that whole free Tibet movement. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, but then Chinese money bought everybody out.
Yeah, that's what I heard happened with Hollywood.
Because you remember in the 7 years in Tibet about Heinrich Harrer, who was one of the German expeditions in the Himalayas, and he was interned by the British in India and then escaped into Tibet. His memoir, 7 Years in Tibet, was made into a fairly popular movie played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I remember.
That was very sympathetic to the Tibetans, that this German guy lived among them for 7 years, and it ends when the Chinese crushed the uprising in 1959, and the Dalai Lama has to flee into India. You could never make that movie today because you want to make all your sales by in China. So the Chinese government's going to say you can't have a movie that condemns our policy in Tibet.
That's what happens when the primary like resource being traded globally is consumers.
Is what?
Is consumers.
Yeah.
Like the idea that when you're watching TV, the products that are being advertised, they're not actually the products. You're the product.
Yeah.
And you're being sold to the advertisers by the people producing the program.
Yeah, and then when you die, they'll make you into sausage.
To be fed to the people in the pods.
Maybe they feed you to the bugs, and then the people eat the bugs.
Yeah,
that
the circle of life.
More likely. So they feed you to the maggots, and the maggots are made into sandwiches for the people in the pod, who will die and be fed to the maggot.
I can hear the Lion King Circle of Life theme now.
Yep.
Oh my god. That's bleak. Well, I hope we don't get to that. Jesus. Man.
Well, who knows?
Weird thing is, I can actually see that happening, like within my lifetime. I mean, I hope it doesn't, but.
No, you need to come down here for In-N-Out burgers before your lifetime expires.
Yeah, God, I gotta get at it. I gotta get out of the house. Gotta get out of the house.
It's an In-N-Out just by the Rubies that we were at, but it's half the price.
That's true. That is true. All right.
In-N-Out, pretty good.
I fucking love In-N-Out. Oh my
I'd
god.
ask for the animal fries.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. In-N-Out is I still like
That's
it.
my favorite burger chain.
Yeah. I try to go keto as much as possible. It's rough. Today I had 2 teaspoons of honey and 2 cups of wine, so I basically killed my. I killed it.
What?
You know.
What? The sugar?
Yeah, because I spiked, basically. Oh, and I had a banana. Jesus Christ, I'm a fat ass.
These sound like health foods: honey, red wine, banana, and you're like treating them like they're bad for you.
Well, no, they're not. Like on their own, they're fine, but it's just one of those deals where it's like, oh my god, I the sugar spike is what makes you gain weight. And I forgot to do my calisthenics today. Maybe I'll do those before I go to bed. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do some calisthenics before I go to bed.
Okay.
Then I won't feel so bad.
Imagine feeling guilty over bananas.
I had 2 slices of pizza and a Dr. Pepper for lunch.
Jealous.
That's one thing I don't really consume is soda. I drink a lot of.
I've
sparkling.
cut way down, but they don't really have Dr. Pepper overseas, and when they do, it's usually from a U.S. military base, and it costs like $12 a can. So there's no point in buying it. And I didn't even know about. I had like forgotten Dr. Pepper existed, but I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I gave this talk, and then I went to lunch with 2 colleagues of mine and Andy Nowicki, and Andy Nowicki ordered a Dr. Pepper, and I had ordered a Coke already, but that reminded me that Dr. Pepper existed.
I love it. Oh yeah, that's right. That soda pop exists.
Well, no, there's soda in. I mean, Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola can be found anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
but Dr. Pepper is hard to find.
I learned that people in the South will just refer to any soda as a Coke.
I think there's parts of the South. Georgia, they do that because Atlanta is where Coca-Cola is based. I don't think they do that in Texas.
Honestly, I don't even really think of Texas as being part of the South. I just think of Texas
It
as
was
Texas.
the largest state of the Confederacy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the modern South, when I just think of it, Texas just kind of seems like its own thing, you know, even though it is South.
Well, what about Confederate Arizona, huh? What is it? Is it South?
It doesn't count, Otto.
What about Oklahoma? Is it South?
I think I had some Okies in my ancestry.
I tend to count anything that was a part of the Confederate States of America as South, though.
We don't all know history, Otto.
Yeah, but the Civil War is pretty basic history.
Yeah, some of us went to public schools, guy.
I went to a public school too.
Well, some of our public schools blow.
Mine was pretty good, but that was way back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I guess they do call it Coke in Texas. We have Donald Robertson reporting in from the state of Texas.
Nice.
And somebody advocating Earn Brew, which is a horrible, awful, disgusting thing you should never drink.
Rooster, if you call it pop, you're no longer cool.
They call it pop in Iowa.
I like to call it soda pop because it sounds funny.
Some people in Portland actually called it pop. I remember when I was a kid. It's more of a northern thing.
Yeah, I
Pop is Midwest.
Yeah.
I know in Iowa they do that, and I think Missouri as well.
Yeah, I normally think of Midwest, but I know that some people in Portland when I was a kid in the 90s called it pop. I don't know if they just happened to be from the Midwest or what, but yeah.
My favorite was NAB, non-alcoholic beverage.
Nab.
have I have a very vague recollection of that. Maybe I might be crossing something else now that I think about it. Never mind. Because I just remember that when I was a little kid, the Soda Pop tab was a really big deal because it was sugar-free.
Yeah, it had saccharin. It had the pink can,
Yeah.
and it tasted horrible.
Yeah. It was a.
And then there was the also the diet version of Sprite. They called Fresca.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Jeez.
Also horrible.
I never understood why anyone liked Mountain Dew. I never liked
Well, I'll tell you why we liked Mountain Dew back in the day, because we didn't have any of those fancy energy drinks. So if you needed a lot of caffeine and you needed it fast, your 2-liter bottle of Mountain Dew keep you up all night to write that paper that due at 8 a.m. in the morning.
That actually is the case.
Of course it's the case. I went to college.
Yeah.
I forgot about that element, that it was highly caffeinated.
It also functioned for video games.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. And then for a brief shining moment, they had a rival back in the late 90s called Surge.
I remember.
No, there's a very similar one called Mellow Yellow, and I actually saw it on the fountain at the Arby's here. They have it.
They
No.
still make that? Yeah,
Yeah, they still make Mellow Yellow. You can get it at the Arby's over by the El Toro exit of the 5. And don't keep going down the 5 though. You'll end up in Tijuana like some people almost did.
I don't know who you're talking about.
I don't either, but I heard rumors. It's in the folklore book I'm compiling.
Nice. I
I've
like
only
it.
been in Tecate and then down to Ensenada. I was 15 at the time. You ever been to Mexico, Eke?
Yeah, I've seen Mexico once.
I've been
It
in
was-
Nogales.
Yeah, it was going to Mexico was a lot like going to downtown Los Angeles. In retrospect, it's almost not different at all.
See, we were just helping lay concrete and paint and stuff for a church down there. And then we did go do some kind of like sort of Sunday school song stuff with kids in this neighborhood that it just straight up looked like a third world country, like, because parts of it are, obviously. But like the houses are made out of garbage and stuff. Just
Yeah.
did not smell good down there.
I miss the third world.
What's most of Kyrgyzstan like? It's just kind of like pastoral, or what?
Kurdistan is mountains.
No, Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan, it's also
Kyrgyzstan.
mountains.
I think I
Yeah,
got it.
if Kyrgyzstan technically is not the third world, former second world, because it's part of the Soviet Union. Yeah, it's outside the Bishkek, the capital, which is like going back to the communist bloc in the 80s. It's mostly mountains and small former collective farms that have now been broken up, but yeah, they used to be mostly livestock, but they've switched a lot of that to growing things like soybean and potatoes.
Soy and potatoes.
So they're hippies.
But no, they use they export a lot of the soy to China, and then they grow a lot of alfalfa, which is used for feed. But a lot of that's now being exported to China too. They, of course, they eat a lot of potatoes.
I mean, maybe we just need China to become like the new Soviet Union to give the West something like an enemy, you know? But that means we'll still have to deal with not becoming Islamized. I mean, speaking from the perspective of Europe. But I don't know. Things could just get too bad too fast. It just kind of feels biblical, the way things are going. I think I've said this before, but I think it's approximately June 2007 was the first time in history that more people lived in urban areas than rural areas worldwide. I think that's kind of significant.
Well, that's kind of
In
bleak.
most countries, the rural areas are pretty boring. It's like, and the I mean, in the rural areas in the United States, you can pretty much get like everything you want, but that's not true really in rural areas in a lot of the world. You have to move to the cities to have anything.
I just thought that was interesting that was the first time in history worldwide that the urban population exceeded the rural. That can't be a good sign, you know. I feel like that's sort of the top of the roller coaster before you take the
No, it means that you need that the efficiency of agriculture is improved to the point where they don't need that many people laboring it to produce the more food. So they're producing more food with less people. So,
I guess.
well, I mean, that's been happening for quite a while, but now it's, as you said, the point where, you know, a country like Ghana has gone from, in the last 60 years, from being 90% rural to 50% rural. So people have all moved to the cities.
I guess that does make sense, because it's not just farming, but like in forestry, the same trend has happened, where a job that would have taken, you know, a team of 5 or 6 people before now takes 1 or 2 people.
And this is also where you get the reduction in population, because the people that were living in the countryside were having 9 kids, and they moved to the city and they have 2 kids.
Yeah, it just seems like it's all heading in a dysgenic direction. I just can't see how it possibly continues. That's why
actually,
people become futurists.
I
Like,
disagree.
we'll just...
What's that?
What's that? Oh, go ahead.
No, I missed the last 3 to 5 seconds. Could you repeat that?
I said something about it leading in a dysgenic direction, and then I was gonna say something about the way I think just like futurist ideas that some people get to sort of cope with the fact that nothing really makes sense the direction it's going. But no, I was wondering what you were gonna say.
Well, I disagree. I think we've been dysgenic for the past century or so, and it's gotten a lot worse recently. And I think that there's going to be a flip to people realizing what's going on and then saying we don't want to do that. I think that's what's most likely going to happen. Could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen.
Maybe.
It's tough to say. I always come back to white people have somehow survived for hundreds of millions of years. I can't imagine we're just going to get wiped out in 2 generations. It doesn't seem likely.
That seems to be a kind of a artificial date. When did we start moving into cities and becoming civilized? Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So let's when does So we have the ancient Greeks, right? That's probably the first highly developed European civilization.
That was what, 3,500 years ago?
A little bit longer, but yeah, certainly not 100 million. No, I think it was like. I'd have to look it up, but obviously, the you've got a huge period of time where people are. What we have the development of Homo sapiens, but we don't have yet the development of anything we would associate with civilization. So.
Right. Well, I'm not talking about civilization at the moment. I'm only talking about genetic integrity. But if you want to, I mean, if one wanted to move into civilization, then I would still say the same thing is the case. Terence McKenna and Graham Hancock, I forget which one, but one of those two guys was saying something about how they thought that it was remarkable that about 40,000 years ago, for some reason, there was a huge flourishing of human civilization for some reason. So it went from being something super low level to suddenly there were like cities and all kinds of crazy shit, art and language and communication and whatever. And I actually do take seriously the idea that the civilization is connected to genes. I do actually believe that. And seen from that standpoint, I honestly believe that there will be enough of us that will make it through the other side. We'll be able to rebuild, so it'll be fine. I think that many of us are going to suffer. Not all of us are going to have great lives during the transition, but
many of us will die in the camps.
Choking on a bug.
Choking on, allergic reaction to insect-based diets.
Yeah. Well, I choose to believe that there will be no camps.
Ooh, that's so naive.
Yeah. It's, maybe that might be naive and it might be optimistic. I don't know.
I don't know. I do think, I mean, obviously it's very flawed, but there is still a kind of robustness to the design of the American system. It is kind of hard for me to foresee us, like, going straight Soviet gulag status here.
I still think it's a possibility. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like it's below 50% probability, in my opinion. But I could be wrong. Bear Singetorix is saying that there are camps, though, and they are being made as we speak. Alex Jones was talking about that back in the early 2000s. Those are called FEMA camps.
Hey, you can get a contract and bidding site. Maybe we should get our own camp. Put our enemies in it.
No helicopter rides.
The land of 1,000 Soviet socialist republics. Just all have our own camps. Oh man, I don't know. Maybe we can just grope our way out of this. I doubt it though.
Goipers will become a highly sought after food when your alternative is bugs.
How did this conversation get so bleak?
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's terrible.
Remember the 80s, man?
I don't want to talk about the 80s.
We're talking about the West Coast, like redwoods and grunge music and stuff.
That's a bit north of here. Grunge music.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss those days.
I was in college during the grunge.
Did you ever see Soundgarden?
Not live.
Too bad. I didn't either. I didn't end up liking Soundgarden until like a year or two before they broke up. Too bad.
I really like the Melvins. They're like not like mainstream grunge, but
I thought
Milton?
they were punk.
they're punk and then kind of like sort of like sludge metal-y kind of stuff. But then they're also just really sort of they're kind of avant-garde in a way. But the members of Nirvana actually only met each other because of the members of the Melvins. They went to high school together.
Well, there were only 3 guys in Nirvana, so it wasn't a huge band.
No. Or it was like, I think they first played together because the Melvins would like play in their garage, or one of the guys' garages. One way or another, I think actually like Kurt Cobain helped produce some of the songs on the Melvins' major label debut, but I don't think he appeared.
This was Subsonics Records.
For the Melvins album?
Yeah.
I could look it up really quick. It was the album Houdini.
No, what was the record company? Subsonic?
I don't know, I'm about to look it up.
I could look it up on my computer too, but I'm becoming lazy. Donald Robertson bragging about seeing John Denver live. John Denver is one of our people. His real name was Deutschendorf, the descendant of ethnic Germans from Ukraine, Black Sea Germans, Schwarzmeerdeutsch.
The album was Atlantic Records.
Oh wow, much bigger than I thought.
Great album. 1993.
Okay.
A lot of their lyrics are actually just word salad. They sound like lyrics, but they're not really. If you read them.
Nirvana did that too.
Yeah, I mean,
Teen Spirit makes no sense. If you
it doesn't.
actually
But
read
like,
the lyrics that Kurt Cobain.
it's not to the level that the Melvins did. Like
There is
like
some great clips on YouTube of early versions of Black Sabbath songs before they became recorded in their final record form. And what would happen is they'd send Ozzy out there and he'd just like make shit up, and then they'd have Geezer turn it into actual English.
That's funny.
There's like a translation by the bass player, and then Ozzy would sing the translation, and that would be recorded for the album. But there's some tapes like where of them doing the first takes on YouTube, and like Ozzy just throwing like literally just like word salad out there. It's hilarious.
I got pretty into their first few albums.
That's funny because that's basically, oh god, what is it? Roxo, the rock and roll clown?
I do cocaine.
Yeah, like he had like that one song, and like it was just literally just some dude just like making up weird shit like in the moment, but it's hilarious. I love it. And I guess they were making fun of Ozzy the whole time. In terms of how, like, quote, like, I know that they were making fun of Van Halen, but the concept of...
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the strange thing, that the lyrical genius of Black Sabbath was Ozzy's vision and Geezer Butler's pragmatism.
Geezer.
Wasn't
The
it
bass
like
player.
Razzmatazz? Wasn't that the name of the band? From Metalocalypse?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Roxo the Rock and Roll Clown. I think the name of their band was Razzmatazz, but I forgot.
I love all the black metal references in that show. There'll be like grocery stores called Gorgoroth or something.
Wait, called what?
I said Gorgoroth. It's a black metal band, but they just have references peppered in that show. But it'll be silly things like a grocery store named Dimmu Borgir or something.
That's funny. I was never into metal, but for some reason I always loved Metalocalypse. I don't know why.
Did you ever see Spinal Tap?
What?
Did you ever see This Is Spinal Tap, the movie?
Oh, no, I never saw that.
Oh my god, you
That's a
Philistine.
pretty good one.
Yeah,
It's pretty funny. It's hilarious.
obviously everyone remembers the 11. Everyone remembers that.
Oh yeah, but the whole movie. I mean, it just takes the piss out of the British metal bands, Sabbath, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. It could be any of them. It just. In fact, years later, when I was living in Ghana, they had it was on one of some British documentary was on Judas Priest, and except for Rob Halford being gay, it was like literally could have been This Is Spinal Tap.
That's
It's
funny.
like, this is Spinal Tap with the extra, turn it up to 11, the lead singer is a gay man in the closet.
I love it. Ah, man, I miss that stuff.
There's still a lot of music I like, but man, I feel like I've just sort of poisoned the connotation that a lot of stuff has in my mind now. So I just have to
What do you mean?
just kind of like not exactly what Heinrich said in the chat, but just generally becoming retroactively black-pilled about the culture I grew up in, or
Oh, yeah.
you know.
No, I know. Yeah, because I was I listened to a little bit of the Downward Spiral like months and months and months ago. And for those who don't know, the Downward Spiral was like the big mainstream album that Trent Reznor put out. 9 Inch Nails is Trent Reznor. Trent Reznor is 9 Inch Nails. So there's no point in saying they.
1995, wasn't it?
What's that?
It was 1995, wasn't it?
That's right. And that album is a concept album about some douchebag that commits suicide or something like that. And I will admit, it's a very well produced album. My favorite producer, Flood, who produced the best album ever, which is...
Flood is your favorite producer?
What's that?
Flood is your favorite producer?
Well, he's amongst, I should say, yeah.
Flood is my favorite producer.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm
Violator,
sorry.
bright. I mean, fucking love Violator. It's to this day like one of my favorite albums ever. But anyway, yeah, I can't listen to the Downward Spiral at all. Like, it's just like it's bad. Like, it's actually bad.
Yeah. I used to be a Manson fan. I know the feel.
What's that?
I said I used to be a Manson fan. I know the feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's sonically it's well produced, and great. It's great productions. The sound levels are beautiful. The textures are fantastic. You can hear what's going on. It's very rich and deep and interesting, and it's all about the worst possible thing. So, like, I just can't listen to it. It's really weird, because it's like, and then you think about all the other albums that you used to listen to as a little kid, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm not into this at all anymore. It sucks.
You're not into ABBA anymore?
ABBA's like Rhodesia, it will never die.
Alright. 3 Swedes and a Norwegian.
Yeah.
or actually half Norwegian, half German.
I do enjoy classical music though, so it's not all bad. If I need to, I can reach.
All right, we have people saying bad things about the greatest band to ever come out of Sweden here.
Well, that's fine. They just have shit taste in music. It's not a big deal.
No, it is blasphemy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm kidding though. It's okay for people to like different things.
It's not okay to diss ABBA.
Yeah, I happen to like ABBA. I kind of do think that you had to be there at the time though, in a weird way.
Dancing Queen.
I love that track. I also really like Waterloo.
That's a good song too.
It's a great track. Great fucking track.
I'm trying to think if there's any ABBA songs that were hits that I didn't like. You know, they were the only, I think, decent band to ever come out of Eurovision.
There are actually quite a few tracks that.
Oh, I said they're the only band that was decent to come out of the Eurovision contest.
Oh yeah. Right.
What was the Eurovision contest?
Every year, Europe, and they have a couple of non-European countries, Turkey, Azerbaijan, Israel, have this singing contest where they like send a band to sing a song, and then the judges from other parts of Europe that vote on it, right? And usually, like, it's just awful, horrible. But way back in the 70s, ABBA from Sweden, that's how they got their start, and then they became a legitimate band afterwards. Almost nobody else does.
Oh man, they're defaming me in chat. They're saying that I like Boy George.
What was his band called? Culture Club.
Yeah.
You guys ever listen to any Tiny Tim?
Yep.
Tiptoe through.
tulips.
Yeah.
That
Guys,
was a long time ago.
apparently his dad was a rabbi.
Not surprising.
I think I knew that at one time.
Well, I mean, just listen to the story of his life. Yeah, I feel bad for the guy, but holy shit, he's a meme. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Tiny Tim. It's too much.
Yeah, he's,
I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, he's not the kind of guy you want to emulate at all.
No.
I don't think I know a lot about his life. I just know that his dad is a rabbi.
I will just say that you do not want to emulate Tiny Tim. I'll leave it at that. I'll let you, if you
I'm
want.
gonna have to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah. He's a cautionary tale. We'll say that.
Well, I gotta tell you, the funniest thing I ever saw on Twitter, and I thought immediately of OV for some reason, was it said, when I went down this rabbit hole, I was expecting strange and interesting things. For instance, perhaps aliens or Illuminati. But no, it's just Jews, Jews, and more Jews.
Oh God.
I want my money back.
Yeah, way back in 2009, 2010, basically I went and took a proto red pill in a way, but I couldn't handle it because I was still way too, I was too blue pilled. So it just didn't do anything. I spat the red pill directly out. And the funny thing is that like half the stuff that I've been learning about, like I'd been exposed to this like a decade ago. It's funny.
I think I was skeptical about like 9/11, probably in the late 2000s. I was still a teenager at the time, but I didn't really start to get red pilled until 2017. Like, it was in a YouTube comment section. Someone brought up to me like race and IQ, and I reacted almost violently. Like, I called them a racist and stuff, and this was like late summer 2017. And
Late
then,
summer
like,
2000 what?
2017.
Nice.
And then like a week later or something, I just sort of like had been sitting in the back of my head, and I was just like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna Google this. And that was kind of the beginning.
You shouldn't have done that.
Couldn't
I
help
have
it.
never taken a red pill, so I've never had to spit one out.
That's good.
All you had to do, Goose, was just stay indoors and eat the bugs.
Just a year later, I ended up in Owen Benjamin's chats trying to push the whole damn house toward the JQ.
I love
And it
it.
worked. There was a bit of resistance at first, but it worked. I won.
Unironically based.
And then he kind of zoomed past that and went for it's like that one meme with the guy walking with his girlfriend, and he turns and he's like checking out the girl in the red dress, and the girlfriend is like JQ and the red dress is Flat Earth or something.
Yeah.
Can't even listen to that guy anymore. I don't know why he's so
Oh wow,
obsessed,
this is cool.
so obsessed with Nick Fuentes. It's ridiculous.
Wait, you're talking about Owen Benjamin?
Yeah,
Yeah, he still streams too.
yeah. I'm still friends with a lot of the Bears. Like, I was friends with most of the mods.
Yeah.
There is on my Twitter feed. It says "Potato Toy Soviet Children's Book 1931," and it's like this potato driving in a potato with matchstick arms.
What?
You have to see it. It's hilarious.
What do I have to Google here?
I don't know. I don't think it's a Google. It just showed up on my Twitter feed.
This is Owen Benjamin you're talking about?
No. It says
I'm talking about potatoes.
it says the manuscript A. Fedulova, Молодая Gvardia, 1931. So, but it's a picture of a potato driving a potato. It's awesome. It's the greatest piece of Soviet art I've seen today.
Jeez.
And I look at a lot of Soviet art.
By the way, I just got to throw this out there for everyone. I just saw this on Twitter right now. Speaking of Twitter, I decided to check my feed for reasons unknown to me. And I got to read this headline. Okay, so this is from CBS Denver. Hospitals reporting more Colorado babies being born THC positive.
So they're already high when they're born.
My God.
Now, here's interesting. This is you aware of the Sackler family?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to declare bankruptcy, so they are no longer selling in the U.S.
They were
invented
the ones behind
OxyContin.
like OxyContin and stuff.
Right, but they have a new company to replace the Sackler, called Mundi Pharma, which is based in China. And it's producing the exact same thing. This picture here of the OxyContin Chinese pills.
Oh my God.
Well,
I'm
guess
ready to go straight Duterte at this point.
I remember thinking Duterte was a really bad guy, and now I'm kind of second guessing.
No. I think I'm okay with declaring Duterte honorary at this point.
The president of the Philippines.
Yeah. He had this thing where he was putting bounties on,
Like drug addicts and dealers and stuff.
yeah,
No,
well,
drug dealers.
communists actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I
No, you
recall
also went after
correctly.
the drug dealers.
I didn't know he was anti-commie. I guess I haven't kept up
Everybody
on
in the Philippines anti-communist. It's the law. If you're not, you be killed.
Oh. It's pretty based.
They also speak American English.
I knew a pretty hot Filipino girl. We were friends. I think she was into me, but I don't know. Guess I wasn't feeling it. She's 4 years older than me anyway.
Stay strong, my dude.
Norway remains only Scandinavian country without influential far-right party. Norwegians are cucked, aren't they?
Well, there's a lot of talk of swings happening. There's some kind of an anti-immigrant party in like Sweden, I think.
There is in Sweden, but there is not in Norway.
Yeah, and I think there's like something like that in Finland too.
Yeah, Finland's not Scandinavian; it's Nordic.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently there's one or two places in Europe where the indigenous population is starting to say, actually, maybe we don't want to go down this path. And of course, they're all being called the N-word, but whatever.
Right, but Norway and England are like behind the curve.
Wait, what did
Yeah.
you say, Eke? The indigenous population is saying they don't want to go down this path and they're being called the N-word?
Yeah.
What's the N-word?
National Socialist.
Oh, that N-word.
I think it's just nationalist at this point.
Yeah, nationalist.
Well, but that's not the word that the media will use. We will use that word. We will use the word. I will use the word nationalist, but the media will always say.
The media will switch to it after it becomes a bad word.
Yeah.
I'm just tired that I didn't register that was the N-word you're talking about.
No, it's fine. I'm actually pretty exhausted. Oh my god, it's 12:30. Holy crap.
Yeah, I
You
gotta...
didn't start to 11. Turn it up to 11.
No, it's already 1, 2, 3, 4 a.m.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I might not be able to make it too much longer.
I have to get up and drive a bulldozer.
No, I don't have to do anything like that, thank God.
I liked the excavator more. Had a masticator head on it, so I was just eating brush. It was cool.
I love it. Can I just throw this out there? I really, really, really love the blue meme right now.
It's pretty great.
It's outstanding.
The Blue Man Group?
Yeah.
I've noticed on some of these, though, surprisingly, there's some people who aren't blue, so it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, well, actually, but that's like a major issue. Like, these people need to be... Like, you need to be able to identify them.
Is Jordan Peterson's wife blue? She really looks blue.
I don't know. In all honesty, I really don't know.
What's her name?
be able to look it up.
If it's an ethnic name, I should be able to identify it. But a lot of times they hide it.
Oh
Faust's
yeah.
name is Tammy. That doesn't help me at all.
I typed JBP into Wikipedia and it took me to Jabalpur Junction. It's a
So
railway
let's see what
junction
let's see what her maiden name is.
Well, just Google image search her, and just look at her.
I'm gonna try and do it from the name because I'm into words, my man.
All right.
You can't tell always by looking.
Yeah.
Alright. Tammy Roberts. Roberts is a Scottish name.
Oh yeah, Tammy Roberts.
So, by the name, it doesn't appear it, but you say the picture.
Yeah, just search Tammy Roberts Peterson. I mean, she might not be. I don't know. It might be kind of a stretch, but she looks like she could.
Early life.
Did you look it up, early life? Oh, she's ugly. I give you that. Lord. Yeah, I can see why you might think. Oh my god. Hurting my eyes. Canadian woman, get away from me. Don't come knocking around my door. Don't want to see your shadow no more.
Ah, man.
That was a good album.
But the Guess Who?
Yeah, American Woman. I think we have that on vinyl.
That would be old to have a vinyl.
Yeah, I think it was 71.
Something like that, yeah.
71 was a good year in music.
It's 1 year old, man.
I think that's the year that Cosmos Factory came out, the CCR album. And then Zeppelin's 4th album. A bunch of stuff. Oh, so I'm gonna post a link to a video in the chat. I was linked to this on 4chan earlier. I don't go on often, but I happened to catch
the video for Canadian Woman?
Oh wow, yeah, it's blown up a little bit today. But this college student gave a presentation in his class called Irreplaceable, and he's just going full bore. Basically, it's worth a watch, and a like, and an encouraging comment. I'm west of the East Coast.
I got no evidence that she's blue, but I have evidence she's ugly.
Yeah, maybe that's just my bias.
You have to confirm these things.
You guys, this is a little bit embarrassing, but I'm actually like starting to get really freaking tired. I think I got a call.
Alright.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I just noticed like.
I need to sleep too.
Was that?
I said I need to sleep too. I got a full day tomorrow.
Yeah. Like out of nowhere, I just
Well, I'm gonna walk down to the In-N-Out so I can still get a beef burger before they force me to eat bugs.
You've got you have 20 minutes, 19 minutes and seconds. So.
No, I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
The In-N-Out is closed here. We don't have late hours here like you guys do.
Oh yeah, ours close at 1 a.m.
Yeah, ours close at like 8.
Jeez.
Now you got me curious when ours closes. Real In-N-Out hours.
Yeah, we got the real deal here. Well, anyway, all right. So I'm gonna gonna call stream, but before I do, firstly, thank you guys for popping on. And
No problem.
yeah, next time I guess I'd like to organize a little more in the way of talking points, because this was largely just kind of messing around.
Yeah, we really drifted.
Yeah.
What always happens if you don't have a map? You just walk around in circles.
Yeah, it's true. No, it's absolutely true. But anyway, Quantrell Bishop is saying, I will take a long walk in the bitter cold, probably will light a Newport and reflect on the rejection. Oh my god, that hurts. Come on, Quantrell, don't do that to me. This is the West Coast stream, bro. That's too much. I can't handle
Quantrell's not from the West Coast?
it. No.
I thought he was from Oakland.
Well, he's not on the West Coast right now, is he?
No. I don't know.
You know
I
who is?
know very little about him.
You know who is stranded on the West Coast right now?
Who?
Kyle Fan.
Kyle?
Kyle Fan.
Oh.
Kyle has a fan?
No. The user account, Kyle Fan.
I didn't know there were any fans of Kyle.
Well,
Silver Screen.
yeah.
Yeah. No, he's a bit west of me over on the coast. He's just
Is
stuck
he
there right now.
anywhere near like SoCal? Like,
No, he's kind of near me. He's in Humboldt.
oh, okay. Because if he was anywhere near me, I would totally buy him burger and fries.
I think he may have just like run out of gas and now he doesn't know what he's doing. Talked to him a couple times.
What do you mean?
Because,
His car ran out of gas. He's living in his car in California. What?
I don't know what he's doing. He's over in Trinidad and just
I thought Trinidad was in Colorado.
no, it's a place on the north
It's a
coast.
Trinidad, Colorado. It's a mining town too.
Well, it's also
And there's an
actual place
island,
where,
Trinidad, in the Caribbean. That's where Farrakhan's from.
like Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. Yes, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Calypso.
But yeah, it's also a little town on the coast in Humboldt, up here in the redwoods.
I was just watching a documentary about, I think it was Humboldt, and there was some kind of a murder, like in 2015 or something. This black kid got stabbed, and it was a BBC. Was it BBC? It was on NPR or something. It was on PBS. That's what it was. PBS. And it was, this big tragic thing, and like it sucks. Obviously, a guy getting murdered is not a good thing. But like they basically painted the entire town as being a town full of racist Nazis.
Humboldt?
Yeah.
No, they're all pot smoking hippies.
Well, no, I know,
Yeah.
but
It's like the only blue place in what is otherwise the state of Jefferson. It's really annoying.
They're all hippies, man.
I lived over there. It's true. The service sucks anywhere you go. Everyone's just retarded.
yeah. Well, I just think it's funny that of all the things they decided they're going to try to paint Humboldt, because I know somebody from Humboldt.
It's also a pot smoking hippie.
Yes. Like, actually, yes. Like, legit, that's what this person is. It was, whatever, nothing against her. It's a she. Nothing against her, but it's like, oh my god. No wonder.
There's so many fewer attractive women over there than just like over here at the north end of the Sacramento Valley. It's pretty weird. At least that was what my experience was.
I hope they don't look like Peterson's wife.
Yeah, it's pretty typical over there at Humboldt State University.
That's why you have to smoke a lot of pot.
Gotta get the horn
Dude, I
top.
would say she's like really ugly, but I mean it's like too high, man.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, it's just okay. I just think it's funny that because again, I can't stress this enough. Like, I know someone actually from Humboldt, and I am convinced that exactly as you're saying, Jonathan Pohl, these people are just regular blue-pilled people. Because like, even when they were interviewing people, the interviews themselves, they were trying to paint everyone in a negative light, and you could tell in the editing. And even with the editing, the impression you got was still that, no, it's just a bunch of, whatever guys, hey, what's going on, man? We don't care. You want to get high? And that was the impression that you got for like the entire thing. But they kept trying to like overlay it with like all this really impactful music and impressive cinematography or whatever. God damn it. Such a bummer. Anyway.
There's a lot of drugs over there. A lot of meth.
There is a lot of cannabis.
A lot of cannabis. I did Molly with a HSU professor once. Kind of
Okay.
Experience.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, well, anyway. Alright, so I was going to call stream and I forgot to, because we started talking about Humboldt.
So now you have to go until morning.
For some reason, I'm going to go and fall asleep now.
Sleep streaming.
Yeah, I'm a soft boy. I got to go get my beauty sleep. Anyway. Okay, so I guess there's nothing that we want to plug specifically, but oh yeah, everyone go to the Citizen Reporter 3. Go to her channel. She's gonna stream.
I don't know what her channel is. She's gotta leave a link.
Yeah.
She's in the chat.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have a wrench.
I had to de-wrench everybody.
Well, not Goose. He's wrenched.
What's that?
Goose has a wrench.
Yeah, but I had to de-wrench as many people as possible, because, like, I wrenched some people.
But I don't know what the link is.
Oh, no. Go to, Citizen Reporter's channel.
Which is what? It's under Citizen Reporter?
Yeah, here, no, I'm gonna post a link in the chat right now.
You post the link, that's fine. It doesn't matter who posts it.
Carper, and then, boom.
Alright,
She's
so
gonna stream.
we're supposed to go there now?
Yeah, because I'm just gonna like call stream. So all right, guys, I'm gonna close out the chat box. You guys, final thoughts, Goose, and then Jonathan Pohl. Goose, final thoughts.
Don't eat the bugs. Don't do Molly.
Okay. All right.
Come on down for In and Out.
What's that?
Come on down for In and Out.
Okay. All right. I like it. Then
I actually do need to visit LA. Actually.
You need to do what?
Visit LA.
You should. If you come to LA,
you will be killed by Guatemalan gangs. I thought they were Salvadorian, but it turns out they're Guatemalan.
Yeah, but between then and actually getting slain, we can go and get a burger.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'm gonna close out this this chat and then close out the stream. You guys, thank you for popping by.
All right. See you later.
Cheers.
See ya.
All right. That was Goose and Jonathan Pohl. Great big fan. I love those guys. And sadly I was like exhausted the entire stream like a retard, but whatevs. Anyway, thank you everyone for popping by. I'd like to do a few more of these West Coast streams. Maybe next time I'll actually think about real topics to talk about instead of just sort of meandering around. But that's fine. It's fun to chit chat in general. Anyhow, yeah, thanks you guys for popping by. We'll be streaming again, by we I mean me, tomorrow, and I have 1 or 2 topics that I'd like to go over. I might talk about a couple of things, but then I might also read Kolima Tales, because I still have to finish that up. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen. Everyone should go over to Citizen Reporter 3's channel at some point in the not too distant future, because she is setting up a stream, just so we're all on the same page. And with that, I am going to just formally call stream. There you go. We're going to head over to the outro. And no album tonight. I'm just too tired. Anyway, we did no K streaming, and here in California, you kind of can't. I just realized we're all from California, all of us. That's funny. Anyway, we can't K-stream IRL here, which is too bad, but whatever. But if we were to do such a thing, and if one were to follow suit, if anyone in the chat were to follow suit, I would recommend the 4 rules of firearm safety be on your mind as you are enjoying the plinking life. The 4 rules are: rule number 1, always treat every firearm like it is loaded. Rule number 2, never cover or sweep anything that you are not willing to destroy. Rule number 3, your finger stays off of the trigger until your sights are on target. And the 4th and final rule is be aware of your target and what's beyond it. Safety first. Thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Remember to get plenty of sleep, drink plenty of water, read Galatians and get woke, and remember to floss, because that's what Jesus would in fact do. Cheers.